So welcome back everyone to another episode. I'm here with D-Lo once again for episode 2 of the podcast. This was a big week in basketball. The 30K club for easy money sniper Kevin Durant. He has now reached the 30K club. So your thoughts on that, being in the 30K club?
Congratulations for KD for getting 30K because it's well deserved, and only few players were able to achieve that. Michael Jordan, LeBron James, Dirk Nowitzki, Will Chamberlain, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Kobe Bryant, and etc. Congratulations to them. But yeah, as far as the Phoenix Suns to go, they're kind of like they're starting. I think he's doing okay, but as far as the team though, I don't know. The playoff chances after this week kind of are going like down because I think they've been losing like 2 of their last 3 games, and they haven't really been the strong team we thought they were in the beginning of the season. So, yeah. So that's what it is. I mean, I feel as though I think it's like more of a coaching and the upstairs problem because I think there's rumors swirling. I'm not 100% sure yet though, but I Kevin Durant said he might move on from Phoenix after this year. We don't know,
Yeah.
but no, I think KD, if KD can, keep it up and, Devin Booker in the support system, the role players, as long as they can, be able to, help him out and able to play consistently and compete. Because look, the Warriors have overcame them now since, and they are 2 games below 500, I saw, and they're currently sitting at like 11th or 12th seed right now. So
Yep.
yeah, I need the Suns to just go on a little run. If they can go on a little run, they can make the play-in, and most likely they can make it to the playoffs.
I agree. Big shout out to Easy Money Sniper. Congratulations to him as well for reaching that milestone of 30,000. The Phoenix Suns, it's one of those things that I've noticed from Phoenix that they went for the big three kind of thing with Brad and Kevin and Devin and try and see if they can do the big three or bust kind of thing. And it's just hasn't really been working out for them. I mean, they don't even start Bradley Beal half of the time. And, the 3 of 7 of the last 10 games they've played, sitting 11th seed right now. And I think it's time for Kevin to move on from Phoenix. And I don't think there's anything coming from Phoenix. I mean, we saw Jimmy, he really wanted to go to Phoenix, but he got moved to Golden State. I don't see too much from this Phoenix organization to even reach where they were when Chris Paul played and they went to the finals. I don't see that even happening with this team right here. Now, where Kevin Durant goes after this season, I don't know, but the Phoenix organization isn't going to take him there too. I mean, Devin Booker has been very loyal, but if Devin wants to win a championship, it needs to be somewhere else than Phoenix. It's just not a championship kind of feel for that franchise right now. They've been rebuilding for, since 2021, and it just hasn't been anything good from it. The big three or bust is not going to work in today's NBA. It's really not going to work, and I think it's time to move on if I'm Kevin Durant.
Yeah, for sure. Like, because I mean, this is the second big three or bust team he's been on,
Mm-hmm.
and it's been disappointing. Like a lot of fans, like even the Nets days with the Harden and Kyrie didn't work out, and it had like every player from that big three went they all their own separate
Yep.
ways. And like
Mm-hmm.
you said, the Phoenix not winning culture, like they don't have a championship winning culture. Yes,
Yep.
like you said, they made it with Chris Paul and Devin Booker, but it's like they have yet to even get that close ever since then. And like you said, Bradley Beal is like the shell of himself. Than when he was in Washington, which is kind of sad to see because he was a 30 point per game scorer, 28, 25. Now his numbers have like decreased a lot. And Devin Booker, like you said, Devin Booker's a star. He showed out. He plays day in, day out. Really has injuries. He's young. He's a lethal scorer, one of the best shooting guards in the league. And like you said, if he wants to win a championship, he's he's got to get out of Phoenix. Because I mean, like if you look at their history, Chris Paul, Steve Nash, like Charles Rock. Like they have good stars. They have like a team, and they might make it to the finals, but it's like they don't end up winning, and they start like decreasing and stuff like that. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, yeah. So if KD and Booker, wants to be a champion, Phoenix is just not the team right now. They're just too all over the place.
Yeah, it's not really the place to be if I'm a franchise. If I'm looking to win a championship, it's just not the market you would definitely want to be in. To switch gears now, D'Lo, we have
Yes, sir.
seen some big trades so far in the league that we talked about last podcast. But the biggest one we want to talk about that we didn't really get to even see or talk about was the Luka Doncic trade. So, what do you think so far from this Lakers team? We'll start with the Lakers first. The
Um,
Lakers right now, how do you think now Austin Reeves, LeBron, and Luka, how are they going to look going into the playoffs?
I'm more surprised how quick they're able to like gel with each other. Because I mean, besides the game last night against Utah, they've been like they beat like I mean before Luka actually played, they beat Golden State. But then they played good when he was the first Utah game. Luka Doncic, he had 14 points. He had 4 assists, 5 rebounds, and I think a lot of people were expecting him to like score like 30 off the rip, and I don't think that's what he needed to do. He was passing the ball, he was rebounding the ball. Austin Reeves has been playing out of his mind like this past few weeks. He's been playing out of his mind. And LeBron is consistently playing at a dominant level at the age of 40. And that team, the team is looking good. My only issue with their team right now is the bench players, role players. Because I see Luka, LeBron, and Reeves have to play extended minutes because nobody off the bench can really like hold up the lead that they need to during the games that they've been playing as a big three. But if they can get somebody off the bench that can just, step up and like he don't even need to score anything past 15, but if he can at least get like 10, that was good. I think Connect coming back also helps. Because I mean, we all thought, like I was like, why are they getting rid of him? The fell physical by Mark Williams prevented that trade from going through. So him being there is also like I think that's going to be their guy off the bench. But yeah, the big man position still kind of questioning. I mean, they signed Alex Lynn
Yeah, I
to a
saw that. Yep.
contract. And yeah, and I think that's what they need because I saw it on the stat sheet. Jackson Hayes had like 3 rebounds
Yeah.
as the Lakers started big man, and Austin Reeves had more rebounds than him. It's just that stuff. I'm not saying like a guard having more rebounds than the big, but I mean you're starting big in the league. You have to have at least more than 10 at least as a starting big on this league. So that's the position they need to, upgrade and, find to get better. But yeah, like besides that, I mean, the starting five, Ryu Hachimura, he's been stepping up, dropping 20 points against the Utah Jazz the other night. So yeah, as far as like if Ryu can keep it up, if Austin Reeves can play, like I mean, he's been playing really good. I wouldn't be surprised if he's Western Conference Player of the Week, honestly.
The Lakers can go far in the playoffs. It just now comes down to the defensive kind of aspect. Is
Yeah.
when Vando comes back, how long is Vando healthy for? If everyone can stay healthy, maybe this Lakers team can go far. I mean, I for sure think they won the trade over the Mavericks. I mean, Anthony Davis played one game. He said, "I'm here," and he introduced himself to the medical staff in Dallas. So that's something I gotta say about the Mavericks. And switching gears to that as well, who do you think won that trade? Do you think the Lakers won or the Mavericks won?
I think I think the Lakers won the trade. Uh but I will say Anthony Davis doing what he did that game prior to the injury was actually very I mean, I was getting goosebumps. It gave me like I mean, Lakers. I know Lakers. Anthony Davis was doing this, but it gave me like flashbacks of what New Orleans. Anthony Davis. Like he had 24 points. He had 17 rebounds. He had 7 assists and 3 blocks, and he was 100% from three. And
Scary.
then he didn't play the whole game.
Scary. Scary.
That that is crazy. But with that being said, though, it's just the availability
Mm-hmm.
that's like because I mean it's not when you look at his injuries like the past few days, right? Not few days, few years. It's been non-contact injuries. That's real. That's concerning. Like non-contact, that means no one's touching you. You're just moving and you just get hurt. Like it's really concerning, and I think the Mavericks needs to not rush him back. I think they should take their time. But I will say, even though the Lakers want to trade, I think Anthony Davis and Christie being on that team makes that team better. I'm not saying they're better without Luka, because they're most definitely good with Luka, the Mavericks. But the way how they played against Golden State last night, Kyrie going for 43 points, Clay doing the things he was supposed to do. It's just as a team, and I know Golden State are kind of in a figuring out stage, but it's just stuff like that. Like they beat Houston without AD being there all the whole game. It's just stuff like that. They can close out a game and still be good. And look, I'm not gonna. All their centers and stuff is getting hurt too, so they having an injury bug right now in that locker room. But the Lakers most definitely won that trade. Luka Doncic, I know it's everybody's expecting him to be the scorer. He's doing just fine, getting rebounds, playmaking, getting assists. Is only making the team better. But when it hit that playoff time, the world's gonna have to get ready.
I do think so as well.
Whoever,
Yeah.
yeah, they're gonna have to get ready
Mm-hmm.
because I'm not whoever they play first round. You know, I mean, I gotta see how it plays out, the way how the West plays out to see who I got for the finals or going to the final, going to make it. But if the Lakers, once Luka gets healthy, 100% healthy again, and gets comfortable with this new roster, new team, and then LeBron, and then Austin Reeves just continue to play how he's been playing, oh yeah, they're going to be a problem.
A problem.
They're going to be a main problem.
Mm-hmm.
Mavericks, I think the Mavericks will have a chance too, but they will need AD to be there full time. They can't have an injured KD. I mean, not KD, AD. They can't have an injured AD because
Is
if they
Lively
do,
injured? Lively's not injured,
yeah,
right?
Lively
Oh, he's
and
injured
Gap
too?
is injured.
Dang.
That's why I said it's a little injury bug going on with them right now.
That Mavericks team, though, is a lot of people will overlook the Mavericks. I mean, it's understood as well. When your star player gets ripped away from your franchise, I understand it completely. That's like the worst thing ever. It's like Curry getting traded away from the Warriors. It's like SGA
Yeah,
getting traded away from the Thunder. It's like, why would you do that? But in the long run, though, with AD's first game ever being played in Dallas, him in a Dallas Mavericks uniform, he played phenomenal. And like you said, the non-contact injuries are concerning. The groin injuries, these different injuries that he continues to have when it's non-contact is very concerning for his age as well. Now, Anthony Davis, going back to the position he's always wanted to play, power forward. He doesn't really like center, but when you put him in that power forward position, he cooks. And he played tremendous basketball. And that's something that Dallas fans need to think about is you now got guys like Kyrie Irving, Klay Thompson, and then you got Anthony Davis, who's playing phenomenal basketball. Not to also mention Max Christie, who is a two-way player who can play defense on tremendous defense, and he can also score on both ends of the floor. I mean, that's a great trade as well. And then you also add in the key role players that this Dallas Mavericks team have. They have a complete team, but like you said, they have an injury bug in the locker room. So I definitely agree that the Lakers won the trade, but I would also vow to say the Mavericks also got a great piece out of this trade too. The only thing is they got an injured Anthony Davis. But if injuries did not play a factor into this whole entire trade, I would like to say the Mavericks in the Lakers trade was pretty even, and more of the fact that I don't think either side won. I think it benefited both teams in different ways. Let's talk about the hometown team real quick with the Wizards. Jordan Poole just had 45 the other night. We have not seen Chris Middleton play yet. With this whole Chris Middleton trade, we didn't even get to even talk about it yet. That actually happened literally hours after our podcast ended. So, thoughts on the Chris Middleton trade, and how would that look for this Wizards team?
I think they're starting to wake up a little bit. Yes, they have lost like 3 of their last 4 games and stuff like that. Yes, but they're not just losing and getting blown out. They are losing, like, putting their hearts out there on the court. AJ Johnson, part of the Middleton trade, he's been doing he's been doing good. I'm not gonna lie, because I didn't think that he was gonna get that much playing time. Being on a new team, but he went out there, been getting dunked, fast breaks, hustling. He's fast. Like, we need somebody like that, And I think, I think the exclusion of Kuzma makes this team a lot better. Because I watched the Warriors versus Bucks game. Kuzma didn't look good at all. He didn't look good at all. Curry was mixing them. He was getting out rebounded by Jimmy Butler. Like, Kuzma, I don't know what's up with Kuzma. But I just think this Wizards team just got a point to prove. Like, it's like the league kind of just looks over them, and they like, okay, all right, y'all want to look over us? They almost they lost to the Cavs by 10, but they put their hearts out there. Jordan Poole dropped 40 twice in 1 week.
Mm-hmm.
My boy is here, and he is another guy, that I don't know if he was going to make it because the way how the Wizards was playing. But look, he had an argument to be in the All-Star game too. So my boy JP, he's here. Like, they thought JP was going to go to the Wizards and just like not ball out. But no, he's killing out there, stone cold killer, and he's leading the team, like kind of guiding the team around him, and everybody else is getting better too. So yeah, I will need to see Chris Middleton actually, because I think Chris Middleton does a lot for this team as far as perimeter shooting. That's why I feel as though we need more outside perimeter shooting, even though JP and other players on the team, they also they have some shooters, but we need more of that. And he playing like shooting our small forward position, that would really help JP, out on his starting offense. So yeah, I will need to see Chris Middleton to play, but yeah, everybody else like stepping up. All the key players are stepping up. I'm liking what I'm seeing with the Wizards. From the last time we talked, Jeremy, about the Wizards, I'm seeing a difference. I've seen like a switch kind of changed in them, and yeah. So I think getting away Kuzma was just, he was not helping the team, and I think Chris Middleton, once we see him play, I think he's going to make this team a lot better.
I agree. Chris Middleton is a phenomenal player. Another champion. Being sent over to DC to bring up this. He's a veteran. To help out these young guys. The Washington Wizards. I would say are a team since trading away Kuzma, trading away Jonas, trading away all these guys. They have woken up. They have now said, hey, it's time to rebuild. And, JP, I've been saying this since the beginning of the season. He's on a revenge tour. Last season was a bad season for him. It was a transition season, I would say, for JP. But now that he is here and he knows what he did wrong and he knows that, hey, I know I need to turn things around, he's on a revenge tour. And it's not just going to be this season. It's going to be for the rest of his career that he has something to prove to this NBA, to the fan base, to the Wizards, to everyone. He has something to prove. Yeah, he's a champion, but he has to show that, hey, I'm not going to be under the shadow of somebody and I can do it myself. He's put up multiple 40-point games this season. Just had 40 the other night, just had 42 against the Indiana Pacers. And the reason why I have an issue with this Wizards team is that they don't play defense. And they had an 18, 20-point game against the Pacers last night, blew it in the fourth, went to overtime, and lost to the Pacers in overtime. So Chris Middleton having to be the guy who is a great defender, like you said, also a great perimeter threat as well, that is a great pickup. And when Alex Sarr gets healthy, I think this team's going to make a great, great run. And Jordan Poole needs as much help as he can get. He can't do it all by himself. I mean, he can go out there, drop 42, but you still need everyone else. It's a whole team effort. It just can't be all Jordan Poole, put it on his back and let him do what he has to do. He needs help. So I do think him dropping 42 is a great sign. And this Wizards team, it might not be this season, we might see something, but definitely next season, this team is going to be something to look out for. And remember, free agency is still a big thing for this Wizards to even look at. They got the cap space, so I cannot wait. I certainly cannot wait for this Wizards team to show us what they got. So, D-Lo, 55 points from Jamal Murray, the Denver Nuggets. Thoughts on them so far? Is this a championship contending team like how they were a couple years ago?
I think they're the dark horse team in the West right now. I think everybody's overlooking them. I don't know why. Jamal Murray, when he's hot, can be a dangerous player. And then they have Russell Westbrook, which I think his leadership skills are very underrated. Because, I mean, dog, like, he went from being the sixth man to the starting point guard on this team. But I just think having that point to prove, like, you guys call me washed up. You guys call me West Brick. You guys said I couldn't fit with the Lakers. I couldn't fit with the Clippers. I couldn't fit nowhere. I went to the Nuggets, and I'm over here doing the same stuff I was doing when I was in my prime. So I think with Westbrook having that motivation and having that sort of team around him, I think they have a strong case to make it, back to the finals or to the Western Conference Finals. And also, I think it's a cultural, like, I think their culture after that winning that championship, yes, they lost to Anthony Edwards, and the way they lost to Anthony Edwards in the playoffs in the Timberwolves last year was kind of like surprising to everybody. But now losing to Anthony Edwards the way how they did in the second round, I think, the second round, I think that really just put things in perspective. And now they're hungry. I can see it. Like, Jokic is hungry. He has the stats to prove it, but he don't even care about I don't think he cares about the MVP no more. He just want to win.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with Westbrook. Russell Westbrook, he just want to win. He hasn't said anything. Westbrook is putting his head up and just having the ball, and he's just hoping. MPJ, same thing. Aaron Gordon, that whole core, they don't need the media attention at all. They don't need anything. They just want to win, make it to the playoffs, and they just have a point to prove, or they just are motivated from that loss last year in the second round against the Timberwolves. And they're like, okay, let us not happen. Let that not happen to us again. And Jamal Murray too. Just a dog. And he was like, y'all thought I couldn't score no more? All right. I put 55 on y'all head just to remind y'all. And now everybody in the league's like, oh, whoa, like, like, what's going on here?
I definitely do think the Nuggets have a chip on their shoulder, like you said. We want to be back where we belong in the NBA Finals. Russell Westbrook is one of the biggest guys on that team, where he is a guy that a lot of people want to see win a chip, and a lot of people who have been wanting to see him fail. Goes to Houston thinking he can win a chip in Houston. Links up again with his buddy, James Harden. It didn't really work out too much. They didn't have a center. The Rockets made a vague decision to, hey, let's get rid of Clint Capella and go small ball. In this day and age, small ball will not work when PJ Tucker is your center. And then you see Russ. He goes over to the Washington Wizards. Hooped crazy with Bradley Beal. Best of the season, Bradley Beal was averaging 30, and Curry was averaging 30 as well. They were going back and forth. But Russ was setting up Bradley Beal. Russ broke the triple-double record there. He was still hooping too, had like 20-plus a game as well. but it didn't work. They went to what, the play-in or the playoffs, and it didn't work out. Then you see Russ didn't fit well in the Los Angeles Lakers, system. Darvin Ham and Frank Vogel didn't know how to emulate Russell Westbrook into that offense. And you can't put, Russ, LeBron, and AD, you put all three of them together and you have no shooters surrounding them. The Clippers, like I said, injuries all over. That was probably a great shot for Russ to even see a chip, with Paul George, Kawhi, and all them now to the Nuggets, where this is his best chance. So like you said, Russ is not caring about nothing. He will fit and do whatever he has to do to get this chip. And you have a guy that's hungry like him, who you see his story, where he was trying to find a place that he can fit in and go win a chip. And then now these guys are hungry because they lost to Anthony Edwards in Game 7. This Nuggets team is ready to go. And they're overlooked, yeah, for sure. But I do think, like you said, they want to be overlooked because they're going to come up and give you a sneaky punch in the playoffs for sure.
Okay, for this week, I know this might shock a lot of people. And I know this might seem like it's left field. But my Himothy Award for this week is Trae Young.
Ooh. Okay. And why do you think Trae Young's going crazy? Why do you give it to Trae
Young? Because I looked at it, right? Like, I did my research these past few days, and just looking at individual play, like, I've been seeing a lot of good team play, like, all around the league and stuff like that. Like we were talking about earlier about the Nuggets and OKC, and how they've been consistent, and even the Cleveland Cavaliers, Celtics, and Knicks. But this week I wanted to touch on Trae Young and how he's been performing individually this past week. So, based on the stats that I researched on in his past few previous games, Trae Young had 38 points, 19 assists versus the Knicks, 35 points, 14 assists against Washington, the Wizards. He had 32 points, 12 assists versus the San Antonio Spurs. He had 34 points, 9 assists versus the Detroit Pistons. And he had 34 points, 17 assists versus the Pacers. And this is all coming from this week alone. I know the teams he's putting those stats on, maybe besides the Knicks, Pacers, and Detroit's looking good. But besides the Knicks and Pacers and maybe the Spurs, I know the other two teams like the Wizards and the Pistons probably he should do that against them.
Yeah.
But it's the fact that, even though they lost that game against the Knicks the other night. They lost most of those games. But it's just the way how Trae Young, as everybody really kind of been counting him out, he used to be talked about a lot as far as like the top tier guards in this league. But it's kind of like he's like the forgotten about soldier. Everybody talking about Luka because Luka is in his draft class. Actually, both of them was traded for each other.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like Luka is getting the attention, which he most definitely deserves. But it's like I just feel like people forgot how dominant Trae Young can be on this Atlanta Hawks team, and they've gotten worse throughout the year. And I'm just reading the stats, and he's getting these double-doubles, 30.10 double-doubles on these teams. And he just, despite on the wins or losses, he's putting his heart, he's putting the effort. He's not once blaming his teammates for the losses. He's being a leader. Yes, the Atlanta Hawks are currently sitting under 500. They're currently 26-29. But yeah, it's just I think that's him type levels because I mean 30 points against the Knicks and 10 assists. He took the Knicks to overtime.
Mm-hmm.
Bro, who besides Trae Young and Dyson Daniels and maybe Clint Capella do you know that's currently on the Atlanta Hawks right now?
And they just traded away Bogey and DeAndre Hunter.
Exactly. They got rid of the guys, his
Yeah.
scoring options,
I don't
and
know
he
nobody
is
else.
right, Jerm, right, and
Yeah.
he's going out there without them, putting up numbers like that, despite the wins or losses. That right there shows heart, loyalty, dedication. He could have been like most of all these stars in the league. Be like, hey, Atlanta Hawks, not going to GM door, not. Hey, I want to trade request right now. Hey, send me to the Lakers real quick. Oh, send me to like any good team in the league. Send me to the Cavaliers. Send me to um anywhere besides the Atlanta Hawks right now. He could have been like that. Send me to the Sixers, even though most of those teams don't need guards.
Mm-hmm.
But just send me to another team. He can easily just be like, knock knock. Let me get out of here. Let me pack my bags. My time as an Atlanta Hawk right now is over. He could be like that, or he can just be sitting out, low managing for no reason.
Mm-hmm.
No, he is showing up every game, putting up numbers for his team, and he's not giving up on them.
And
So
that's
that's
why I
why
think
I
he should be
get
an all-star too. Mm-hmm.
right, and that's why he got. Even though it was a replacement, it shouldn't have been a replacement. He should
Facts.
have just been an all-star. Period. But but he is an all-star now, technically, and that's why I gave him the Himothy of the of the award of the week, because I think his leadership skills, um, his character, his personality, how he is as a person, and that that trait to not give up on his team despite what roster move that has happened the past few weeks. I think that shows a lot of character. So that's why he's my Himothy Award winner for this week.
For this week. Um, I agree. But I got something better than that one right there. Himothy Award of the Week for me goes to the Big Bodega, Karl Anthony Towns. Yeah, Karl Anthony Towns is going to be
Okay.
it. I'm not going to lie. Like you said, Trae Young did take the Knicks to the, to overtime with the Knicks. But let me tell you, 40-point performances from the Big Bodega, the Big Cat himself. Karl Anthony Towns had 40 against the Indiana Pacers 2 days ago, and just last night had 44, 10 rebounds, and 4 threes on the Atlanta Hawks. Big Bodega.
That's crazy.
Also,
That's crazy.
let alone against the Toronto Raptors, 27 points, 20 rebounds, and 2 assists. I'm going to give it to Karl Anthony Towns this week. Trae Young is a great player, yes, but for me, I got to go Karl Anthony Towns because I think he has made a huge impact in New York since he has gotten here. And
For sure.
I definitely think that this was a great pickup. A lot of people did say, why did we trade Julius Randle? Why did we trade Dante DiVincenzo for Karl Anthony Towns? But let me tell you this. He has switched his Uggs out for some Timberlands because Karl Anthony Towns has become an aggressive New Yorker. And this guy right here is him. I mean, he since the day he has put on a New York Knicks jersey, he has become a different kind of player. And I definitely think Karl Anthony Towns can take this team very far. And Jalen Brunson, Josh Hart, OG Anunoby, and company love Karl. And this team has very much gelled into a great franchise. Now, can they go as far in the East? I definitely think so if they can stay healthy. And last year they should have went far if they stayed healthy. Tibbs was playing everyone at 40-something minutes a game. They don't have to do it no more. But, the bench, a little bit iffy on the bench side, but I definitely think this team can go far for sure. And that's going to be my Himothy Award of the Week is Karl Anthony Towns for sure.
Hey, I'm not gonna lie, that's fire. I had that thought like before I chose Trae Young. I looked at his stats. I was like, wait a minute. I was
Yeah,
like,
his
'cause,
stats
they
are
always-
crazy.
I was like, wait a minute.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm not gonna lie, like you said, I'm not gonna lie. My boy most definitely made Minnesota look stupid.
Stupid.
Like
Oh
they
my
traded
goodness.
this man, and he is having the best year of his entire career. Like,
This is
I mean,
probably his best breakout season. This is probably the best breakout season I've seen in a while from
in a
somebody.
while, right?
Mhm.
Right? Because everybody thought he was, man, Ant is the leader of this team. Right, let's give away Towns. We don't need him no more. Like you
Mm-hmm.
said, we don't need Towns no more.
Yeah.
That boy got into New York, put on the big steppers on, and turn these bro. Everybody is just a great. He's mad because I remember there was this narrative, especially when he was young, that he was just this weak center. That
Mm-hmm.
he was weak, never aggressive. You can just body him in the paint. All he does is shoot. Bro, this man has been doing everything that people say he couldn't do and more. And his team is top three in the East right now.
I agree.
And they have the chance to compete for the title because I think it's going to be Knicks versus Celtics in the Eastern Conference Finals.
And that's the only two teams I could think of right now who can make it that far because they're the only two teams that look very much competitive in that Eastern Conference. And I think the Knicks are going to come out over the Celtics this year. If they can stay
Probably, most
healthy,
likely, if they can stay, yeah.
I think
And
they'll
then
come
also
out.
the Cavs too. I can't count the Cavs out.
I
I
don't
can't
want to
count
count
the
the
Cavs out.
Cavs out, but I think the Knicks can have it over the Cavs.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
think for sure.
Oh,
I think
oh yeah,
Jalen
for
Brunson
sure.
is a dog. Jalen's a dog. So,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because I think the Cavaliers lack a lot of playoff experience. A lot of playoff experience. And the last time they matched up together, the Knicks swept them. With all due respect, the Knicks swept them, and the Knicks weren't the team that they are right now. They got better, a lot better.
very much
Brunson,
better.
dog. Even Bridges
Oh,
is
and that's a lot of people forget about that guy too. They forget about how Mikal Bridges, they had this narrative in the beginning of the season of, oh, he can't shoot no more. Mikal has been a terrible shooter. He fixed his jump shot. He tweaked his jump shot prior to the season even starting. Said this guy was a walking brick. And look at him now, one of the best shooters on the team. Mikal Bridges is for sure a great asset, and I wish they had the Villanova Knicks still intact. Was Julius
yeah,
Randle
that
the
was crazy.
problem though? Is what people are talking about? Do you think Julius Randle was the problem?
I think at first it took me a while to really because I didn't want to pan it on him, but now when you see the way how this team goes about how they play day in, day out, every game they play, it's like they play so much better without him. Because I feel like Randall, I'm keeping it banned. He was a problem. Randall, you can see, and it's all showing in the Timberwolves. He's playing lazy on defense. He's not hustling for the rebounds. Anthony Edwards have to come up to him and be like, "Yo, you playing like you playing basketball in a pair of jeans." He said that to him. He said that. He said that to
Wow.
him. Yeah, he kept it a band, and I'm like, "Yo." Not one time Ant had to say that to Cat. So yeah, like you look at this Knicks team, the Randall Knicks team with the Cat, and see how they play. They play so much like free basketball. They play a lot better. And to be honest with you, when Randall was on the team, they had Mitchell Robinson out there, and Mitchell Robinson was looking better than Randall on the floor. So yeah, I think Randall was the problem. I think Randall lacked a lot of like dog in him. Even though I think Randall had I say a good season or two when he was in the Knicks, but when they got Brunson, they started like when they got Brunson, Julius Randle really he just wasn't hungry. He wasn't showing like no dog in him or anything like that. And this Knicks team is top three, and they're going to be able to compete in the finals. And Cat being that replacement, and Cat being that center that they needed, that center, that big, that dog, that aggressive person that can rally the team around them. Hey, yeah, no, I agree, Jeremy. Like Cat, like with him being your Himothy, Cat most definitely deserved it
Big
for
bodega
sure.
right there. And I do agree with you. Julius Randle, I didn't know that's what Ant said to him. That's just it's crazy to even think about that. I do think when Jalen Brunson was starting to become a breakout player for the Knicks, we saw a change in Julius Randle's kind of hungriness for the ball. I mean, he kind of now thought this team isn't his. He was still trying to find his role with Jalen Brunson trying to now he wants the ball in his hands too. Julius has definitely changed, and at first I was questioning why, but now I see that the Knicks knew what they were doing, and they're the top team in the East right now, and I just hope for the best for the New York Knicks. I hope the best for Cat to continue on to put up these phenomenal numbers, and I also do think Trae Young was a great pick as well, and I hope for the best for Trae Young as well. I mean, I know that they're right now the 9th seed in the league right now, still a play-in team, but I hope the best for them, you know. And I hope that Trae Young continues to still have that dog in him to go out there every day like he still is now, and still knowing that this team there's still a future. But
For sure.
that's going to be the end of episode 2. That's D-Lo. I'm Jeremy. We got episode 3 coming out next week, Friday. You know, for all the things that are going to happen in the NBA next week. All-Star game happening this weekend. We'll be covering that as well. Yep. Again, I'm Jeremy. That's D-Lo.
All right, see you then, Brody. Take care.
Take care. Peace.